So I did an interview for Let's Be Cops, and Jake Johnson was there, Damon Wayans Jr., Rob Riggle. It was really interesting to be in a room with those guys because they're pretty damn funny. And so I asked, my question was, if you guys were to make a sequel, which one would you choose? Let's Be Firefighters or Let's Be Doctors? Rob Riggle's response? Let's Be Astronauts. Why not? So it's like the funny version of Gravity. Can you imagine the movie now? They're floating in space. Hey, look at my dick. It's through the spacesuit. And then some type of fart joke happens. I'd watch it. I really would. Welcome to Reviews. I'm Chase Lee. I'm here to review Let's Be Cops. And this stars Jake Johnson, Damon Wayans Jr., Rob Riggle, and a bunch of other people that I will not spoil for you if you want to see it. So this movie is co-written and directed by Luke Greenfield. And if you have not heard of him, he's written and directed one of my favorite underrated comedies, The Girl Next Door. I absolutely love that movie. Where are you at? I was going to show you the movie case, but apparently I can't find it. But it is a fantastically underrated movie. It's a very good comedy, and it's got a lot of heart to it. Yeah, it's a little raunchy, but, it's an R-rated comedy. What do you expect? So he comes back and he directs this one. He's done other movies in the past, but, The Girl Next Door was, the last good movie I ever saw him do. So it's good to see him come back with this because I love Jake Johnson from New Girl. I love Damon Wayans Jr. and his whole family. I love Rob Riggle. So I was like, what could go wrong? I gotta tell you, it's not the best comedy of the year or the summer, but it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I had a smile across my face the entire time. I just had fun with it. It was a very fun movie. And so basically it's about these two guys, Jake Johnson, Damon Wayans Jr., who dress up as cops and go to this costume party, and they realize it was a wrong costume party, so they leave the costume party, and people think they're actual cops, so they kind of run with it. So yes, 100% of this movie is illegal, but that's what's the great thing about movies. It's projected fantasy, and that is what cinema is, so it works. Because, trust me, if we were all cops, we've all thought about it. So don't lie to me right now. Don't lie to yourself. You have thought about it. But, so let's start with the directing. Now listen, you guys know me, I love comedies, so the way I gotta judge a comedy is it funny or not? Okay, so let's start with the directing. I think overall this movie has a lot of jokes that hit. I think it has a lot of jokes that miss, or just try too hard to be raunchy for the sake of being raunchy. So I'd say in a percentage wise, I'd say 70% of the jokes hit, 30% of the jokes miss for me. That's not a bad ratio. You're not going to hit 100% of the time. Everyone's got a preference and a taste for comedy and humor, so I think 70 and 30 is very good for this movie. Now, the one thing I will say about the directing is that at the very end of the movie, you guys knew this was all coming, this is not a spoiler, there is a shootout, essentially, with the two cops, or the two guys pretending to be cops and the bad guys. It was shot very well. I really like the realistic, grittiness of it. Capturing the essence of, these two guys are just normal dudes being thrown into this situation that's terrifying. And so I thought that was really cool. I like the whole end of the movie, a lot more than the, other two-thirds. But, it was shot very well. It felt really tense. It just felt realistic, and the gunfire and stuff. I like that. That was really cool. That was a really cool touch on this concept. And so for that regard, I'm going to say the directing overall is very solid. There's nothing wrong with it. I think all the actors, when I was in the interview, the actors did say that they improv a lot. You could tell in the movie. And so I think that was the director's, choice, was just kind of let them kind of feel each scene out and just kind of go with the flow. I like that, as long as they can pull it off. Like I said, 70% of the jokes hit, 30% of the jokes miss. Not bad. The directing is solid. The acting. I like Jake Johnson and Damon Wayans Jr. as a duo. I think they're pretty funny. Like I said, not all the jokes hit, but for the most part, their chemistry was very good. And they're friends in real life, so it works out. And they were on the show New Girl together, so that also works out. Rob Riggle, on the other hand, he plays the straight man. He does not play the eccentric character that he usually plays. Um, Side note, in the interview, I said, "Hey, Rob Riggle, every time I see your face, I think of Pow from your character in Step Brothers," and he laughed and he did not want to shoot me after that. But yeah, Rob Riggle plays the straight man, which is weird. He just plays a normal dude, but it worked. I liked it, and so everyone else's chemistry, like the other side characters, are fine, but you mainly watch it to see these two guys pretend to be cops, and their chemistry works. So I can't really fault the acting in that regard. Minor characters, they're not as good or try too hard. You can't really fault them because they're not in the movie that much. You see it for these two guys. I think their chemistry works really well. Cinematography-wise, like I said, it's a comedy. But when they have like high-speed chases or gunfire stuff, it's actually shot really well. I like the grounded feel of it and the realistic grittiness. So I think the cinematography in that regard, when the action happens, is great. Otherwise, the dialogue, it's typical shooting style. It's nothing important. Okay, editing. I think the movie's like hour 40, I want to say. I thought it flew by pretty fast. I was invested because I just kind of want to see these kooky guys that go through their adventure and whatnot. That should have been the tagline on the poster, and I would have definitely not seen it. So, yeah, the pace is very good. Like I said, I had a smile on my face the entire time. I was just interested to see what these guys would do, and so for that regard, I think the editing in this movie is very good for a comedy. It keeps it going, keeps the pace going. There are a lot of down moments, a lot of serious moments, but it doesn't weigh the movie down at all. It just kind of helps it in its story and its characters. So overall, I battled on this. I wanted to either give it a 6 or a 7. I'll go with 6. Like, listen, guys, it's not a bad movie. It's enjoyable. It's just not as funny as what I thought it would be. But I really enjoyed it, and there's a lot of jokes that hit, and I was like gut-busting laughing. I love the interview that I did with these guys, but because, a 6 out of 10 is not bad. It is 60%, and that's still fresh. I'm not going to rate this movie rotten by any means. Just for me, I watch a lot of comedies, so you got to stand out. And like I said, I love the concept of this movie. It's a very, very interesting and cool concept. I love the action scenes. I love the jokes in some parts. So overall, it's actually a very enjoyable movie. It's just, it's just not that great. So I think a 6 out of 10 is pretty appropriate. So have you guys seen Let's Be Cops, or are you going to see Let's Be Cops? Comment that place right below my face and let me know. And bonus question, if you were a cop, what would you do first? I'm curious. For me, I'd probably just walk down the street, puff out my chest, and hope to God everyone just pees their pants from being intimidated by me. That's probably what I would do first. And then probably just go home and sleep it off. So, that is my review of Let's Be Cops. Thanks for watching my reviews. I'm Chase Lee, and tune next time for whatever I review next. See you guys later.